What's next after an absolute debacle of another awful offensive performance? Welcome, Steeler Nation, to your latest episode of your Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate with me, your host, Britsburgh, Owen, your voice from across the pond, your UK Steelers view. Well, guys, it's the morning after the night before? Have we all got a hangover after yesterday? Guys, remember, if you have not yet subscribed to the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate, hit that sub button, ring that notification bell, and smash that like button, guys. So, key question, what's next? 1 and 2 in a mini bye situation now where we've got a number of days building up to the next game, which is against the New York Jets. And it was a pretty bad performance all round by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Certainly, Mike Tomlin said in his post-match press conference that collectively we didn't deliver. I think that was a bit of an understatement. After having stayed up until 5 a.m. watching the game here in the UK, I was very, very tired this morning, very, very disappointed. So, who do we blame? I know that's an awful thing to say, isn't it? That who do we blame? It's kind of like a fan thing, isn't it? You always look for a scapegoat, look for someone to blame. Now, part of me, I am a huge apologist for Mike Tomlin. I love Mike Tomlin as a coach. I think he's a great coach, 15 winning seasons, etc., etc. But I can't help but feel after his post-match press conference yesterday and after some of his comments during the week and so on and his build up to this season that he's kind of got a bit arrogant, a bit stubborn in his ways, a bit too unwilling to change, a bit too inflexible in his approach to being a head coach in the NFL. Certainly, if you compare him to the more offensively minded modern coaches, like the likes of Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, for example. Now, who do we blame? Okay, let's rephrase that. Let's analyze it. Let's look at what went wrong. Does that sound better? Let's have a look. Show it. So this is a bit of a stat that I pulled down. So altogether, we gave up 171 rushing yards given up in the game. So Steelers defense gave 171 rushing yards up. Remember, guys, this is the highest paid defense in the NFL, and it still hasn't figured out how to stop the run yet. Nick Chubb ran all over the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday. The Steelers were 1 for 9 on third down conversions. That's 11% on their conversion rate, which is the lowest in the Mike Tomlin era in the whole time he has been the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. On the contrast, the Browns were 6 of 16 on third down, 37.5%. And it did seem at times that whenever we got them into that position of it, third and long, or it just seemed that David Njoku was always there to come out with a catch, or Amari Cooper. There was always an out for them anyway, 37.5% of the time. Then on fourth downs, and the Browns went for it 3 out of 4 times. The Steelers never once going for it, even at the end where it was 4th and inches and chose to elect a field goal, went down 9 points. Tomlin again being very conservative, a bit stubborn in his ways. Browns, though, 3 of 4 on fourth down conversions, 75%. Much better than the Steelers. Now, was it the Browns were substantially better than the Steelers? I don't think they were substantially better. They were good, don't get me wrong, if they've got a decent roster this year. And when that sicko comes back and plays quarterback for them, they'll be an even better team, I think. But let's reflect on the Steelers for a minute. What about Mitch Trubisky? Well, it was a bit better, shall we say. And I think the play calling by Matt Canada was a little bit better as well. There were some more longer throws in there, a bit more mixed up. Obviously, the high winds that were in the stadium certainly affected the deep passing game. But was Trubisky substantially better? Was he looking like a QB1? No, of course he wasn't. I mean, have a look at this. This is his pass chart from that game. I mean, a few more throws deeper there that you can see. But again, the majority of the throws, again, are less than 20 yards. There is only 4 throws to the middle of the field, as you can see there, 2 complete, 2 incomplete. A complete lack of any throwing over the middle again, even though the fact that the Steelers have, Chase Claypool, who can play in the slot. They have Pat Freiermuth, Zach Gentry. There was a complete lack of any throwing over the middle. Is this down to the play calling, or is this solely down to Mitch Trubisky's lack of vision and lack of flexibility and lack of accuracy? I mean, George Pickens even pulled off a fantastic one-handed catch. But guys, if you watch the All-22 on that catch, Chase Claypool was down the field doing jumping jacks. He was wide open with easy jogging to the end zone. And Trubisky didn't even look at him at all. There was also this time when Trubisky completely overthrew an open DJ as well. That The throwing lacks accuracy. The passing lacks accuracy. His vision is awful. He becomes fixated on one target, and that's the one target he focuses on no matter what. I mean, he threw into triple coverage at times. He was lucky not to be intercepted on a number of occasions. Again, it was a poor performance. It was not a good performance by Trubisky. And it was not the offensive line. Trubisky was given time, wasn't he, to actually pass. If you notice, the number of times actually, even when he started to scramble, that he didn't need to. He was being given a clean pocket by the Steelers' offensive line. But could we see a change? That's the question I think a lot of Steelers fans want the answer to. Can we see a change? Can Kenny Pickett be that man? This is what Mike Tomlin had to say when he was asked about would there be a quarterback change. He said, I'm not interested in this mindset. The answer to that question is definitively no. So Tomlin isn't even considering a quarterback change. It seems that no matter how bad Trubisky plays or how poor his judgment is or how awful his accuracy of throwing is or how just plain bad he actually is, it does not seem to affect Tomlin's judgment. It seems like Tomlin is stuck in a stubborn rut that it's a case of this is the man I picked. This is the man I'm going to stick by, come hell or high water. And even if we end up only winning 4 to 7 games, then I don't care because this is my man and I'm sticking by him. It's a very, very silly attitude that Tomlin is clearly taking in this account, I think. Yes, everyone goes about, it's not the Steeler way. Well, has the Steeler way won us a Super Bowl in the last 10 years? Has the Steeler way won us a Super Bowl since 2008? No, it hasn't. We have not won a Super Bowl. We have not done very well in the playoffs for numerous years now. This is not acceptable. We're the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're a team that is meant to compete in the playoffs. I'm not saying it's going to win a Super Bowl every year. Don't get me wrong. But we're a team that is meant to compete, and we're not competing at the moment. We just are not competing. It is not good enough. The offensive coordinator is not good enough. The quarterback is not good enough. And maybe now, and I hate to say this, questions need to be raised of the head coach. Is he too stubborn, too stuck in his ways, too arrogant in his own belief in himself that he won't change, that he can't change, that he can't evolve the style, that he can't evolve the type of play the Pittsburgh Steelers use, and he can't evolve the Steeler way as it's known? He needs to. He needs to move on. He needs to look at the role models around the NFL. And even though he's an experienced coach and one of the better coaches in the NFL, look at the likes of Sean McVay, the likes of Kyle Shanahan, even Andy Reid. They are willing to make changes to their team. They're willing to change players around when needed. They're willing to make that change. Shanahan, the 49ers have been to the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship game in the last few years. And, Jimmy G got into two NFC Championship games and 1 Super Bowl. Yet they've tried to move away from Jimmy G this year to Trey Lance. Okay, I know Trey Lance has gone down injured, but that's evolution. That's what the Steelers need to do to evolve, to move forward, to move with the times. The same way with that McVay saw that Goff was not the answer, even though they picked him in the draft and moved on to Matt Stafford, made that blockbuster trade. He evolves, he moves, he adapts, he changes his style. Something Tomlin seems have an inability to do. He's too stuck in his ways. He's too stubborn to change his mind. And if someone dares suggest it, like the media, it makes him even more determined, it seems, not to bend and break. I, for one, am very fearful of what the rest of this season can hold for us. 1 and 2, Jets next up. We've got some tough games as well coming up this season. We've still got the Bills to play, the Eagles to play, who are outstanding, the Bucs to play, who are a very good team. This team could realistically move into the bye with winning only 1 more game, possibly against the Jets. But is that a gimme, given the Steelers' past history of losing to teams that they should be beating? It could be exceptionally tough. The Bills, I think, in the light of this performance, will absolutely light the Steelers up, which will be very, very embarrassing. Well, Steeler Nation, let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think of Mike Tomlin's attitude? What do you think of the quarterback situation? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've not yet subscribed to the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate, hit that sub and come and join the Syndicate family. Guys, let's finish it. Here we go, Steelers. Come on.